Before you're published as an author, it's probably quite easy to imagine that on publication day, your entire world becomes a golden utopia and you become utterly free of all worries and negative emotions. Yes, wouldn't that be nice? The reality is that for the vast majority of authors, publication day is one great big mess of emotions, some of which aren't in the least bit positive. So let me guide you through the 7 ups and downs of how you're likely to feel on your very own publication day. Because publication is going to happen for you, I can feel it. I believe in you, and my belief will only be intensified if you'd like to use your pen to tap the subscribe button so that you can receive further insights into the reality of writing, getting published, and earning a living as a writer every Wednesday. In this video, I'll also share some strategies that you can use to at least try and make your negative emotions more manageable on your big day. Let's start with one of the negative emotions that you're likely to feel, and it might be one that you don't expect. Now, you know that feeling when it's your birthday and the spotlight's on you and all the attention is on you. Sometimes that can feel a bit embarrassing, right? You don't quite know what to do with yourself, do you? Well, guess what? That's kind of how publication day feels. Of course, you might be the kind of person who absolutely soaks up attention like a sponge and can't get enough of it, but even then, you still don't quite know what to do with yourself because you've done the stuff. You've written the book, and now the book exists and it's almost a separate entity from you. So why should the attention be on you? And yet it is. What do you do with yourself? That's a hard question to answer. The best thing you can do is to try and just do something either to promote the book or celebrate the book, or ideally a marriage of the two, and just try to embrace the day and feel a little bit less self-conscious about it. If you're an introvert and publication day literally makes you want to scurry away from social media, then you can do that. If you're being trad published, then you'll have a publisher doing all the stuff. They'll be posting on social media about it, I hope. If you're self-published, then the onus is more on you to do the stuff, but you could do it the next day. It doesn't have to be publication day. In a moment, by the way, I'll talk about a few things you can do to promote your book. But first, let's talk about one of the ups, one of the up emotions. And it's impossible to deny that that emotion is just excitement. If your book is a physical entity, then you'll have it by now. Excitement is the word. You've finally got your book in your hand after the months or even possibly years of writing the thing and all those times during the process when you just didn't believe that this would ever be real. But now it is. Yes, let's have a party and try to feel less embarrassed while we do it. Because excitement is the flip side birthday feeling of embarrassment, isn't it? Kind of excitement and embarrassment kind of go hand in hand on this kind of occasion. Maybe it's a British thing. Let me know down in comments. Let's move on to the third emotion. And once again, it's a down emotion, kind of. Or in fact, it's kind of nothing. It's numbness. You feel a weird numbness. And again, I think this is another birthday type feeling. I think this whole birthday metaphor might stretch throughout the whole video. Let's see how far I can stretch it before it breaks. But for all the excitement you feel, you face a challenge in terms of gauging your own true excitement when it comes to the book itself. You've been so closely involved with the writing and the editing process that you'd rather never see it again, ideally. Certainly never read it again. The whole day doesn't even feel real, and you're pretty sure that all the other authors in the world have publication days that feel absolutely more vivid and celebratory and real than this one. You know what's happening here? You're even having imposter syndrome on the day of the release of your own novel. Imposter syndrome just follows us everywhere, no matter how far up the supposed ladder we climb. Imposter syndrome is there, snapping at our heels. Let's move on to the fourth emotion, which is an up emotion, and that emotion is pride. How can you not feel proud? You wrote an entire novel and got to the end, and not only that, somebody, some entity or other, whether it was Hachette Publishing or Kindle Direct Publishing, liked it enough to publish it, and now your book is available for anyone in the world to read. They can either tap a button to download it to an electronic device, or they can get Amazon Prime to deliver it to them the next day, or sometimes the same day. If you're watching this in a few years and drones can deliver books within an hour, then just pretend I said within an hour. And that's a great feeling, and you should feel great about it. Embrace that great feeling. If you'd like to see my full video diary from the week that this novel of mine, Ghoster, was released, then you'll find it in the classroom section in my free writing community, the Fantasia Writing Lounge, hosted on the amazing platform School. I'll put a link down in the video description. Join us in the community. We've got 80 plus people at the time I'm recording this, and they're all lovely people, very supportive. They love a chat. Emotion 5 is another down emotion, and that emotion is sadly deflation. It's hard for the day to not have a sense of the anticlimactic about it. Why? Because as authors, there's nothing more important in the whole world than our publication day and the fact that our novel is available. But unfortunately, the whole world does not revolve around us, and people have things to do with their lives. So while we might love to imagine readers yanking our books out of their Amazon packages, going straight to page 1 and just intensely reading the book until the whole thing has been devoured, they might not read it for days or weeks or months, or, well, never. And so that's a kind of a sobering reality. I mean, obviously it's great if someone buys the book, it doesn't matter when they read it, but for you on this day, you kind of crave some kind of feedback, some kind of sign. If you're lucky, you'll have had some reviews around the internet. You might have had your publisher set up a blog tour, so there might be lots of reviews online, which would be great. But if we're honest, that stuff is brilliant. But what you really, really want to see on this particular day is the first Amazon review. So there you are, sitting there, refreshing the Amazon page, hoping to see that review. And the first review that pops up, if it does on that day, will seem like it represents the opinion of the whole world. Oh, first reviews of Ghoster are in. Let's have a look. So we've got 2 reviews in, an average of 3 stars. Sweet Jesus, yes. To counter this and actually any of the other emotions, the best thing to do is to promote the book in some way. Do something. Connect with your fans, your readers, people who follow you on social media. It doesn't matter how big your following is. Just try and connect with people and convey your excitement for the book without outright saying, just, I've got a book, you must buy this. Throw some kind of special online event. When Ghoster came out in 2019 and I had a far inferior camera to the one I have now, I did a live stream on YouTube. And over the days that followed, I did an Ask Me Anything in Instagram stories, which was a lot of fun because you can answer in video form. I like stories that are set very much in the here and now, and that's what tech helps to give us. But more importantly, tech is taking us somewhere new and unknown. And if there's one thing that really works well for scary stuff, it's the unknown. Just please do anything with yourself that connects with people and stops you from sitting there refreshing Amazon endlessly. Another strategy that I can heartily recommend is to make sure that you are waist deep in the writing of a new novel when this one comes out. That way your head is on the new novel, and so the publication of the old novel, as you'll come to think of it, will feel really cool but not like the end of the world. A general rule as a writer is to really try to avoid sitting around waiting for some kind of result or thing to happen before you're allowed to write again. Get on with the writing. Emotion 6 is another up emotion, and that emotion is hope. Because anything could happen now. And unless you're an extreme kind of self-doubter, you have to accept that anything could happen. 1 million people, 10 million, 5 billion people could conceivably pick up your book and read it. It's possible. Who knows? When your book comes out, it's all to play for. The sky's the limit. And so hang on to that hope quietly. Quiet hope is good. Desperate hope, not so much. The final emotion you will feel is one that you might have predicted at the start of this video. It's fear. Of course, there are lots of different fears that you'll feel, and here's one you might not have expected. You won't really want to look at the finished copy of your book. You'll want to look at the outside and go,
"Oh, isn't that pretty?"
But, let me tell you, you will not want to look inside those pages, because you know that if you do, you're bound to see a typo. And then that typo will just consume your brain forever. Why didn't you see it? You'll ask yourself at 3 a.m. while weeping into the pillow. And of course, the most obvious and pervasive fear that you are going to feel on publication day is,
what if people think my book is rubbish?
Well, luckily, I've made this video here, which will give you a few strategies to help you deal with that fear. So I'd advise you to watch that video right now. Hope it helps. Thank you for watching, and write like hell.